disclaimer, don't comment if you're not a Christian, if you're not trying to have constructive iron sharpening iron conversation, don't comment, please. I beg you, because I will delete the comment. I will. I don't have the energy or the time, not the one to be played with. Okay. If you're new here, welcome. And if you are new, subscribe. And if you've seen the title, then you know what today's video is about. But a few weeks ago, I stumbled on the idols in my life and realizing what those are. And well, I didn't stumble on it. God doesn't make any mistakes. But I want to start this video off by reading Galatians 4 and 8, and then I'll go into what is an idol. Formerly, when you did not know God, you were slaves to those who by nature are not gods. That hit. This is my first time, but I probably read that verse before, because I realized a lot of things that I've read in the Bible, I'm rereading, and I'm like, yo, what? Because I have like new eyes to them, and it's like, oh shoot. So I'm gonna read it again just in case it hits for you as well. Formerly, when you did not know God, you were slaves to those who by nature are not gods. And that's Galatians 4 and 8. So the definition of an idol that I have is any image used as an object of worship. Inner, often hidden objects of devotion and desire that take precedence over our relationship with God. Choosing an idol is abandoning the way of God for another aim. So I'm going to go into it now of how I stumbled onto my idols, or like how I was, I guess, practicing idolatry. And so I think it was back in June. I was doing a fast, and it was a corporate fast with church, just 3 days. And I don't want to put this away because I still need to keep focused on these points. And ironically, that was the first time like I ever actually locked in on a fast. Like previously, I would fast, but like it would literally just be not eating. Like the prayer and the like studying and all of the other parts like over my head. Like it was just like, yeah, I would pray. And yeah, I would read the verses that they said to study, but like it was very like, okay, tick, tick, did it, finish. But that fast, and it was on the subject, or the focus of the fast was a spirit-led life. And that was something that I had already been praying to God for. Like, I need you. Like, I need you to lead me, please. And so not even knowing that fast would like bring about like, okay, what it would really take for him to lead me. Like he really needs me to move these things out of, like, if you want me to lead you, why are these things in my way? Why are they in my spot? Anyways, so it came up in like, okay, so the fast, and then I'm like, okay, idolatry, okay, that's a sin, okay, ooh, kill him. And then I was having a conversation with a friend, and she just mentioned randomly that like she was interested or trying to transition into like only listening to gospel music. And at the time, I was transitioning out of smoking and alcohol. So like I think it had been like maybe a month or a few like weeks that I had stopped drinking, but I had stopped smoking maybe like a month prior. And like at the time, like we were talking about it, and we was like, yeah, sometimes like at a certain point in your life, which is where I go back to Galatians 4 and 8, where it says, when you did not know God, you were slaves to those who by nature are not gods. So I would often just be like, oh, I could stop smoking, I could stop drinking whenever I want. But at the same time, it was like, I don't want to though. I don't want to. Why would I want to? Like, I enjoy this. This is, I get something from it. And then I started to realize I wasn't getting anything from it. And the things that I was getting were all like bad things. Like, I didn't like the feeling. I didn't like the after feeling. I didn't like it. Just all just like was a horrible taste in my mouth. And so like I found myself releasing them, but like still holding on, like still keeping them in that little spot right there. Like, oh, one day I could just go back to it. Right now I just need a little, I need a little break, whatever, like that. So like I didn't really move them from off of like that altar, but like I just shift them over a little bit, put something else there. And so yeah, I felt called to do that. And then the other idols I found, so when she mentioned the music thing, I was like, I know I tried. I thought about it, like it crossed my mind to not listen to secular music, but like I really like music. Like music really like echoes how I feel a lot of the times, and like it really gets me out of a mood, or it really, like makes me feel like, validated in like my sad moods or like my happy moods. Like I really get a real punch from it. So I don't know. Maybe music isn't really, something that like maybe I don't, maybe that's for you. You might want to move into gospel music, but like I don't think it's that bad. And then I watched Sinners, and I realized how locked in. Well, I watched Sinners prior to, but having that conversation with her made me think back to watching the movie and like my perspectives on it and like how I felt about it. And I was like, because I was really like that scene where they are on the dance floor and he is like doing his song, and like it's like um the cross cultural, like that really gripped me. Like I love a good visual. I love a good visual. But also like the power of music. I was just like, oh my god, yes, this is how I feel when I listen to a song. And then it like so I thought about that. I thought about that in real time, like having a conversation with her, and like so after that conversation, it was food for thought. And then I reflected on the things that, like, in my devotion, God brought up like idols. Like I don't know where it came from, just randomly. Like I wonder what are the things that like I really like lock in on. Like I don't play about me for sure. I realized that I was like either it was like myself. Well, it wasn't either. It was myself and solitude that were like really high up there on my like things that I worship, that I really like. I don't compromise on. Like they are like, you ain't gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not moving these. Like it's gonna be me at the top, and then everything else, it's gonna be me at the top, and that comes from like trauma and hurt. Like see, seeing time and time again, nobody's putting me first, so now I have to be the person that puts me. I gotta put me first, Lucius. And like that was a cycle. Like I'm still fighting it. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not out of it. I'm not. It can't come on here and make it seem like. And that's kind of the reason why I'm having this conversation. I'm like having this video. We're trying to evolve, but at the same time, we have to realize and be mindful that we're only human. So holding myself accountable, talking about these things, sharing, shedding light. So that brings me to all of the idols that I did uncover. And I'm going to read the list of things that I listed. I'm pretty sure that this is not an extensive, comprehensive list. There are other things that I maybe, God is still like shedding some light, and I just can't see that light right now because I am so deep in it. But, well, the word resentment really just, and I'm like, God, we are praying on it. Like, relax. Okay, so my idols currently or previously that I'm working on: success, money, achievement, alcohol, smoking, solitude / myself, healing. You couldn't tell me that therapy wasn't going to fix me. You couldn't tell me them self-help books, all of the things. Music. Okay, so that's all the things that I have on my idols list. So that's music, healing, myself / solitude, smoking, alcohol, achievement, money, success. And I also want to go into, before we go into that though, I'll read the 2 devotionals that really kind of made me dig a bit deeper into like, okay, what are these idols that we have? So one of them is titled, Who is Your King? And it makes reference to Psalm 10 and 16, which is, the Lord is king forever and ever. The nations will perish from his land. Who is your king? Who is the king of your life? Is God your only king, or do you worship people or material possessions? We read in the Old Testament how God's people wandered away from him time and time again and began worshiping other gods. God had to punish them each time, allowing them to suffer before they repented and turned back to worshiping him as their king. Aren't we doing the same things today? I want to talk about that a little bit, but I can get through this and then, yeah. We can't believe that the Israelites fell down before other gods and worshiped them, but don't we also bow before other gods? The idols of today are not statues. They are much more sophisticated. We bow before money or prestige. We see how others make more money than us, and then we also want to be wealthier. We are even prepared to push aside our loved ones if they stand in the way of our ambition. Ask God today if your not perhaps worshiping other gods. And then the second one, because I'm getting back to the Israelites, because they really had me in a chokehold. The second one is the idols in our lives. So the scripture reading, Jesus is the true God and eternal life. Dear children, keep yourselves from idols. And that's 1 John 5:20 through 21. I get very worried when I see things that are becoming idols and kings in our lives. Work, money, leisure. Oh my gosh. I gotta add that to the list. Oh my god. Leisure. Okay. Idols take and take and take. And if you've allowed the wrong king in your life, it'll be like a thorn bush from which you can't get away. He's not going to tell you, tread lightly and sit and rest in my shade. No, he says, come so I can take from you. We have a choice. Who will be the king of our lives? What are we chasing after? What do we see? What do we desire? Those things become our kings. Don't allow these vicious kings a place in your life. Work hard, enjoy what you have, enjoy life, but don't allow money, possessions to become idols in your life. Okay, so back to the Israelites, because last year I was in Exodus and like I there key ha ha ha. Why they so silly? Key. Why they keep going in circles? 40 years, and it was what? Was it a 4-day journey? Like how Sway? How y'all do that? What y'all doing? Why? How Moses go up there to get the commandments, and all of a sudden y'all want to build a golden calf? How Sway? And then here we are, like almost a year later, but not even only a year later, because in reading those, like, I saw the parallels within myself. Like, I was just like, yeah, they always complaining. Yeah, God tell them do this, and then they go on and do whatever they wanted to do, and now they mad because they did whatever they wanted to do, and the results of what they wanted to do has hit them, and now they feel pissed because God's supposed to be their deliverer. How are he supposed to deliver you from the things that you running behind? Anyways, so those really, like, because I keep looking at the Israelites like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all so silly. Ha ha ha. I'm an Israelite. It really given 40 years to get to the promised land. And I really trying my best to lock in, keep him on the throne, no more idols, because the way you lose sight of what's really important when you like, oh my God. Like in this world that we live in today, it's even worse. At least then they didn't have no phone, they didn't have TikTok, they didn't have everybody on Instagram showing them, oh, I'm going to Dubai today, I'm going to Brazil, I'm going to Costa Rica for 3 years, I just got a Bentley. Like they didn't have all of that. They were so far removed from from other civilizations. It was really just them and God. I still side eyeing them, because how could you not locked in? How could you not have locked in? But at the same time, fair. Even though God has not given us a spirit of fear, we are human. It is in our sinful nature to be fearful, and that's why we have to keep seeking Him. That's why we have to keep running after Him. Because when we run after Him, it keeps our eyes on what we're supposed to be focused on. The minute you start looking around, oh, Sally have this, John have that, I need this. You ain't focused on him, and he then over there, and you still back here, and now you don't know where you're going, and you in a circle again. Boom, just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to Bible verses on idolatry, and the fact that the Israelites, like, they didn't just do that when they first got to the wilderness. Like, they spent 40 years in the wilderness, circles. After they got out of the wilderness, still back again in Canaan, they still started marrying other people. Oh, and that was the next thing. You now meet Johnny from Jabim, and you from over here where you know God, and now Jabim idols is in your house, and that's what you worship him. You okay though? All right. Sorry about the hostility. This is I'm adding myself, by the way. This is very. You okay though? Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scriptures here that I want to read, and they're all based on, or verses rather, and they're all based on idolatry. just to shed some light on how God feels about idols and like the different ways that he talks about it. And so we'll start with First Corinthians. And I think John I spoke about already. And I think Psalm I also spoke about already in those devotions. But I'm gonna reiterate because repetition I'm realizing is very important. You might not get it the first time, but the second time, the third time, fifth time, maybe 10th time, maybe 40th time, Israelites. I'm actually going to start with Galatians 4 again, 4 and 8. Formerly, when you did not know God, you were slaves to those who by nature are not gods. These things are not gods. They cannot get you anywhere. They're not going to be your savior. They can't help you. Money can't get you out of these cycles. You think you're going to get rich, and then what? You still have the trauma. You still have all of the things that you were carrying along the way. You got some money, but what? You ain't broke no more. But now you don't know how to manage money because you don't have God in it. Anyways, okay. First Corinthians 10, and I want to focus on on the New Testament first, because a lot of people say, okay, yeah, well, when Jesus came and he died, that did away with the law of Moses. Fair, because the law of Moses does say, thou shalt not have any other gods before me. But the Old Testament talks about it too. So just know, God still feels the same way. His vibe did not change on that. He's still a jealous God. 1 Corinthians 10 and 4. Therefore, my dear friends, flee from idolatry. 1 John 5 and 21. Dear children, keep yourselves from idols. Colossians 3 and 5. Put to death whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. You didn't hear that part. Which is all of these things: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed. All idolatry. You know why? Because you now value these things over what God is saying to you. God already tell you don't do that. But you now value a little love ups, a little cuddles, a little my booski, a vacation over what God is telling you, where he's taking you, what he's trying to do in your life and through you. Okay. And then we have Jonah 2 and 8. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. And this one hit me too, right in the chest. You know why? I remember, this is maybe like 3 years ago, I was doing like a audio journal about how I was realizing that I've been surrounded by love my entire life. Like, love is literally my birthright. But because I am so stuck in, like, I don't know, my head, or like this state of like resentment, I have turned my back on love. Like, love is in the room, completely surrounding me, and I in the corner with my back turned, like, no, I don't want it. Leave me alone. I don't want it. So, and in that instance, love is represented by God. Like, literally, you could replace that with God. God is in the room surrounding me, and I'm like, leave me alone. I don't want it. Leave me alone. I ain't into that right now. And so it's crazy that 3 years ago I came to that realization, and still here we are 3 years later, and still it's just clicking, but not even fully clicking. Israelite, hi, present. And then we're going to go into I'm going to read that one again. Jonah 2 and 8. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. He literally wants to show you how good it could get. He wants to show you what it is to have a father, to have a mother, to have somebody who like will ride for you till dawn, till dusk. But you want that little who ain't gonna listen. Okay. Psalm 16 and 4. Those who run after other gods will suffer more and more. I saw this for myself. I saw it in real time, in real life. I promise you, it's facts. And then the last one, I think, which is going back to the Old Testament. Psalm was also Old Testament. I think Jonah as well. Jonah is also in the Old Testament, girl. Exodus 20. This is where it all started. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol. You should not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on earth beneath, or in the waters below. Nothing should be in the place of God. He is, he was, and he will be to come. Like, he is everything. Okay, I'm finished. This is Exodus 23-6. I just finished reading verse 3 and 4. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. When you decide to choose something else, and this is me just trying to, colloquialize this and make it, very layman's term, God literally is be like, oh, you hate me, eh? You know I'm jealous. You know how I feel about this, but you decide to say, you know what? Put something else there. You never like me, because I sure that's how I feel. If I am a little, a little booski, and all of a sudden you online, but you ain't messaging me, who are you talking to? Okay. But showing love to 1,000 generations for those who love me and keep my commands. And I've seen this, like, literally punishing the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generation, generational curses. I'm living it. I'm trying my best, especially, like, back to the smoking and the alcohol thing. Like, that ain't something I just, went ahead and say, you know what, I'll take this on. I'm going to fall in love with smoking and alcohol. No, that's been in my backpack, literally from birth. Like, I go into my backpack and it's like, oh, is that a bear? So yeah, these things, they're not. Nothing is a coincidence with God. Nothing is a mistake. But you have to be intentional about your relationship with Him. It doesn't have to look exactly like you've seen it look, your relationship with God. It doesn't have to look, it doesn't have to be ticking those boxes. Like, okay, well, I prayed today, I read my Bible today, but did you understand? Did you ask God to open your eyes? Like, did you have a conversation with Him? Like, were you real and been like, you know what, God, like, it's a little rough. My brain right now is literally meatloaf. Like, my attention span is zero. I might not really grasp that whole chapter I just read, but please focus. Please focus my brain, my mind, my eyes on the things that you really wanted me to grasp from that. Can you please bring back to my remembrance the things that I need today for this week, this daily bread that you have just given me, what I need to feed on so that I could prosper in this earth, so that I could be more like you, so that I could let my light so shine, like, so that I could not let these, the traps of the enemy sway me. Like, I could actually, be agile and vigilant, and I could be like, oh, you thought, oh, no, Satan, like, yeah. So that's all I wanted to share, because that's what I'm learning. And I just want to say that even though there was like a bit of hostility in this conversation, it really was all love. Honestly, I was sharing with you how I feel. It was like a mirror. This is literally me talking to the man in the mirror, but also if you're listening, we're sitting around. If you could hear me talking to myself, then it's to you too. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed. I hope you got takeaways. I will put the scriptures that I read down below, and also I'll share this devotional. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. With that comment, I do want to, disclaimer, don't comment if you're not a Christian, if you're not trying to have constructive iron sharpening iron conversation. Don't comment, please. I beg you, because I will delete the comment. I will. I don't have the energy or the time. Not the one to be played with. Okay. Thanks for watching. We can link. Bye.